We are going to make card patterns 2, 3, and 4, and number 4 is a fun fold, and I have 7 examples to give you ideas on how to use them. Hello everyone, and welcome to sunnydaystamping.com. I'm Julie Baca, and this is the card pattern class for June. Card patterns are one of my favorite tools for creating cards. I make a physical pattern that's will help me just spark my creativity on how to use the products I already have to make cards. And I thought this might be helpful for you also because you get more value out of what you've already purchased. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to put together 3 different card patterns. And I find it really helpful to have a physical pattern to help me visualize. I'm going to be giving you all of the measurements to make these so you can start your collection of card patterns. So let's get started. Before we start making our first card pattern, after last month's video, I had a couple people reach out to me with a great idea. Instead of using a full piece of card stock for a card base, they suggested just making a card front. The measurement is the same, but just leave the back off because you don't need it if it's a simple card. So on your card making template, although I give you the full measurement for a folded card, when you go to make yours, use this measurement here, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just for the card front. All right, so let me give you the measurements for all of these pieces. You can start and stop the video to get them. This is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Remember, this is for the card front. What is written here, though, is for the actual card. So we're only using this measurement here. Now, I don't give the other measurement on this pattern because when you go to use this, you're going to be making an actual card. You only need to make the pattern one time. This layer is 5 1/4 by 4. Then we've got 2 1/2 by 4 3/4. Then this next layer, I'm going to try to put this on here. I'm not going to glue it while we're on camera because that would be too slow. Okay, so this one is 2 5/8 by 3 5/8 with a focal layer of 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now you're going to grab a circle punch or a circle die and punch this out. I'm using the 2 3/8 inches here, but any 2 1/4 inch circle is going to work with this layout. Now, the beauty of a card pattern is you change it to what with the supplies that you have. So if you don't have a circle punch or a circle die or whatever, you cut out a 2 1/4 inch square, and that is going to work great. Another way you can use these card patterns to use the supplies you have is to rotate it to fit the stamp set or whatever you're going to use. Move the pieces around. They're all going to fit on the card, but just play with it to have it work with what you have. Now, with all these different layers, there are 3 ways that you can change up the layers. One is to use this just as shown, just with the cardstock. The other way is to emboss a layer on here to spice it up, or you can use designer series paper too. And those are the 3 card options that I'm going to be showing you examples of. Before I do that though, I am going to glue this on the back of this pattern, just like that. So now I've got this in my box of patterns. I picked this up because this is the one I want to use, and I've got all the measurements here. Now, noted here are measurements for the inside of the card. You can obviously change those, whatever. This is just a suggestion. All right, so now I get to show you the examples that I made using this template. I just went into my stash and found the products that I wanted to use. You can see instead of it being portrait, I rotated it landscape. Instead of punching out a circle, I used the die in the Round We Go die set. Oh, and this is using just the option number 1, which is just a plain cardstock layer. Now, option number 2 is to emboss that layer to really make it pop out. Oh, I forgot to show you the inside of that other card. Hold up, hold up. Oh yeah, see, that's so cheerful. Aren't those stamps so fun? Okay, and then don't forget to decorate your envelope. All the instructions are here. Now, the third way that you can change up this card pattern is to add designer series paper for one of the layers. You can also have it open in a different direction, and the measurements for that are all on the card tutorial here. And you can see this card, I used the pattern, I made the card just in the way the pattern is laid out. So this is card pattern number 3. We're going to start with our card base representation of 5.5 by 4.25. The next layer is 5.5 by 3.25. I'm going to glue this on real quick. This piece, you're going to butt it up completely along the fold line so that it is flush. Now, this is, even though this is a simple card pattern, I wanted to show you just a trick. We're going to be adding this super thin strip, and I found it easiest to just lay down a thin line of glue there and then add this strip. The measurement of this strip is 1/4 inch by 5.5, so you can cut it exactly that length, or you can just grab a piece out of your scrap and then just butt it up completely, like you want it nestled right up against this next layer. You want it even on the top. We're going to press this down, and then I am just going to grab my scissors, flip this over and trim it. And then I know it's a perfect measurement. So when you're making the example card, you can use that method for just an easier way to put it together. Next, you're going to do a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square, followed by the inside of this is 2.25 by 2.25. And then make sure to put your measurements on the back. All right, let me show you my 3 examples and the 3 ways to use that cardstock layer. The first one is to keep it plain, although this time I just stamped it with this really large stamp. What is this one? Oh yeah, this is called Layers of Beauty. Oh my gosh, so gorgeous. And then I used the same thing to decorate the envelope. So then the inside of this card, I put another strip on the inside. The other way you can fancy it up is just to add some gems. The second option is to emboss it, and you can see I'm still using the exact same pattern. I didn't move anything around at all. Let me show you this one. So you can emboss that layer, add some gems, and you've got a great set there. Now the third option is to use designer series paper. You can see this one, I just rotated the pattern, made a quick and easy masculine card using the Take to the Sky designer series paper and the Simply Said stamp set. All right, pattern 4 is a fun fold card, which automatically makes it just a little bit more complicated. So we're going to put this one together because I have some tips to share with you. So you're going to start with your card base 5.5 by 4.25, and unlike the other templates, this is actually the measurement that you need. You can see that this does not open up, so this is the right one. Now for the folding layer that goes on top of that, you need a 4 1/8 inch by 11. So you're going to just use a big piece of cardstock and just slice it at 4 1/8 to get a strip like this. And then we are going to measure it. We're going to score it 2 3/4 from one end and 2 7/8 from the other end. So we're just going to score it. We're going to just flip this around to score it on this side. So now the measurement that was 2 7/8, that is the top flap of your card. So you'll want to just kind of keep an idea of what that is, because here is a different layer. So now what we're going to do is flip it over, because you want the bump of your score line to be on the inside when you fold it over. And we're just going to burnish those score lines like this. And then we're going to glue it to this card base. Just center it right up on there. And then I just take my bone folder on the inside to just kind of squish that glue around so it's got a nice, good fold. Which this one is not. It is popping up. The next layer is a 2 5/8 by 4, and this is going to go on the bottom flap. So this is the section that was 2 3/4 inches, and that is going to fit perfectly. You'll notice if you go to put it on here, it just doesn't fit exactly perfectly. So just put it on the one that fits exactly perfectly. But you know what? If you put it on the wrong way, it will not matter at all. So this kind of folds over, just has a little overlap. Now the last thing you're gonna do is put your focal point on the front of the card, but you do not want to glue this all the way down because then you can't open it because the message is on the inside. Let me give you that inside layer. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Now this one, you want to only put glue on the top of this square. This square is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So just there, and that is probably way too much glue. So now you're gonna fold up your card, center this directly in the middle of your card, or if it's not directly, then you're fine too. And then just press that down. There we go. Let me show you what I did with this card. Whoops, I forgot. I got to put the measurements on the back of this thing. So for this card, I used the sketched butterflies. This is a stamp and die bundle. The dies cut it out. Isn't that butterfly just gorgeous? And then you open it up and you can stamp on the inside of the card. You can put designer series paper as this bottom layer. You could emboss it, you could leave it plain, but you can see that your pattern is just gonna give you ideas for what you can use to make that card. Now, if you'd like this 12-page written tutorial, remember you can purchase it in my tutorial store, which is growing. I keep adding things to it. Or you can make a $50 purchase and use my host code in the month of June, or all my team members get access to these also for free. I put out a new card making video every Thursday. The next card pattern class will be the first Thursday in July, so make sure to come back for that. If you like free project sheets, I email those out to my email subscribers on Friday morning. They get my newest project sheet. So if you'd like to be on my list, there's a link in the description of this video for that, or you can always find it on my website. Thank you so much for watching. Have a sunny day.